Hey guys, today I am back at the Niagara Emporium, which is located at the Fashion Outlets in Niagara Falls, New York, and this is a massive antique mall. If you caught my most recent video, you would remember I found a pretty massive comic collection there, and there were a lot of great comments, a lot of people saying they wanted to make the trip out here. So I thought it would be fun to do a full walkthrough of this place. As soon as you walk in the building, you're hit with a huge video game display, some boxed game consoles, just about every cart you could be looking for, some out-of-box consoles as well. You're not going to be getting any great deals from this booth, but it is really cool to look at. Of course, they have some Funko Pops. You're going to be seeing a lot of that. And I just want to give you guys an idea of how many Funko Pops are in this place. Hold on, let's go over here. There you go. I also have some boxes of comic books. But it isn't all just Funko Pops or modern stuff. There's a little something for every type of collector. Like, I found this shelf over here that had these war books. Now bear in mind, this is going to be a long video because they've recently expanded and now take up 3 entire stores worth of space. I've been seeing a lot of trading cards, Pokemon, a lot of Hot Wheels. More Funko. Another Hot Wheels booth, and this one's all 20% off. Sometimes they do have sales going on as well. Another little stand of books. I always like to check those to see if I can find comic books or weird things like that. Little section of DVDs, mainly horror stuff. But I did find this Superman documentary that looked pretty interesting. This booth had a few stacks of some of these old pulp novels. I always like checking that stuff out, and sometimes they have comics in this booth as well. None today though, but some very interesting looking things. It's just always a lot to look at. You could definitely spend hours here. I was interested in looking at some of these old cameras. You have some little figurines, some kind of comic-y related stuff. And then you turn over here. Some more video game and comic related stuff. We have some of these Marvel action figures. Those look pretty cool. Little Wolverine figure. Some Mario. A lot of Mario. Some more comic-y stuff. X-Men 97. Avengers. I really like that Al Pacino Scarface. That was pretty cool. A lot of Bill's stuff. You'll see a lot of Bill's stuff and more Pokemon cards. Some sports cards. Beanie babies, of course. And more old cameras. And more old dishes. Lots and lots of dishes. Turn around the corner, more old dishes. And more dishes. And knickknacks, glassware, stuff you'd find at your grandma's house, but you know what? It's all fun to look at. And along with all the old dishes, they had this really neat display of wood art. Of course, the Batman one was catching my eye. There's also some Star Wars, some Buffalo Bills stuff. Like I said, you'll be seeing a lot of Buffalo Bills related stuff here. Up by the front, they have a little snack area. And then over here, you guys might recognize this area from my last video, so if you want to see what kind of comics they have, check that out. But last time, I didn't really check out what else they had at this booth. There were a lot of action figures on the wall. They have a first appearance of Star-Lord in this case, a Mad Magazine, a Jason Goes to Hell set. It's an Amazing Fantasy reprint and some other Spider-Man books behind it. But be sure to check out my last video to see what kind of comics I was finding. A lot of good stuff. And I was actually seeing a lot of people buy comics today, which I love to see. And they had this neat display of character watches. Of course, I saw a Batman one that caught my eye. A lot of Disney stuff. They had a few of these Mickey Mouse clocks. Another one up there, and a Mickey Mouse phone to go along with it. Over here you have more comics. More comics. And more cards. That's some cool stuff. This really pretty case full of Christmas ornaments. And then you have Roger Rabbit, just kind of randomly in there. This is a fun case to look at. They always have some Batman and Simpsons stuff going on in here. And they're always refreshing these too, so I'm always seeing different stuff every time. Yeah. Barbie dolls, Lord of the Rings, My Little Pony. Like, that's what I mean when I say every type of collector can find something cool here. And one of my favorite spots to check out here is this big horror display. They have this really cool custom Heath Ledger Joker mannequin. A bunch of action figures, more Funko Pops. More comic books. I've looked through those many times. Nothing I'm looking for, but some pretty decent stuff in there. Huge wall of DVDs. More fun stuff over here. Some Harley Davidson. Up here, they actually have these cool horror movie displays. Like there's Nightmare on Elm Street, RoboCop. Lots of Jaws and Star Wars over here, and this is a blast from the past. Does anyone remember these Star Wars Galactic Heroes? I remember me and my brother had a bunch of these growing up, and we definitely had some of these ones, so that was really neat to look at. More Funko Pops. Some really unique pieces here, like some of these Jaws and more Buffalo Bills, of course. More comic books. I've had some luck with this case, but nothing I'm looking for today. And as you can see, there are still a bunch of empty cases, so plenty of room for new vendors to come in. More sports stuff. We have some baseball cards, some football. More Funko Pops. I should just make a tally for how many booths carry Funko Pops at this place. Some of these cool cartoon glasses, those are always fun to look at. More comic books, Superman trade paperback. And, oh, more trade paperbacks over here. Superman, Batman, parts 1 through 3. Didn't see a price on those, but that's something I might actually pick up eventually. And some more Marvel stuff down here. A Howard the Duck treasury. Ooh. Lots of fun stuff here, too. More trading cards. More trading cards and more comic books. And looks like everything's 20% off in this case. Cool little Predator run there. And some action figures. A lot of Kiss stuff too. You definitely see a lot of Kiss memorabilia. Some vintage coins. And now we're heading over to the news section. Part 1, because there are 2 new sections. And over here you have more trading cards. This area tends to be a little bit more modern stuff. You have some Batman, some horror stuff. You have some manga, more Funko Pops. And then I'm seeing another booth with a lot of trading cards, some anime girl figures, some amiibo. And you also have this reprint of Action Comics. I think that one was a loot crate. A bunch of these pins, more Pokemon cards. Oh, and then all this stuff is new as well. These cases weren't here last time. It's good to see them expanding. Some G.I. Joe, some old cookware. And just some pretty stuff to look at. More Funko Pops. Oh my goodness. And then this one was definitely not here before. Just a bunch of old photographs. Always neat to see. More dishes. But those are the fancy ones. They gotta keep them behind glass. The stuff your grandma would only take out for the holidays. And then over here, of course, more wrestling, more trading cards. But the booth immediately next to it is the one that really catches my attention. The one that I always have to check when I'm here. This one has like a bunch of weird, kind of obscure comic books. Sort of more exclusive things. Sketch covers, foils. That Nathan Zerdy Harley Quinn's really cool, and it's signed. Oh, guys, I have been getting into Chainsaw Man, and check out that ASM 300 homage. I think I might need that. Ooh, and then this area is all new. This was not here before, and of course it got my attention because I'm seeing a huge display of Batman toys. Let's go in and get a good look there. And then immediately next to Batman, an entire case of Transformers. Got some Godzilla, some other monsters. Every corner I turn, I'm finding comic books in this place. Over here you have some lamps and kind of interesting household items. More Beanie Babies. And more Funko Pops. And these guys had so many Funko Pops, they're spilling out the top. And more empty cases. I'm really excited to see more people set up shop here. Got some more WWE stuff. More stuff on top. More Hot Wheels. And even more Funko Pops. There's a lot going on in this booth. Yeah, I'm seeing some stuff here from cartoons, comic books, video games. That's a really neat Lego minifig display, and they have some sets and other minifigs. Pack of Batman Valentines. That's really neat. Some old McDonald's toys. Seeing a lot of X-Men stuff in here. Goofy looking little Batman. Seeing some books down there, and it looks like some trade paperbacks. I'm seeing Deadpool and Black Panther. More Pokemon. More Hot Wheels cars. Ooh, that's a cool Wolverine comic right there. Captain America, Hulk lunchbox, Mickey Mouse ears, Pez dispensers, more dishes, more comic books, and cards. Oh, someone should fix that before it gets bent. More dishes. This booth I always like looking at because they have a lot of pretty stuff. That fedora is really cute. I would definitely rock that if it wouldn't make me look like more of a pretentious asshole than I already am. And in the back corner, we have a stash of more comics. Nothing I'm looking for, but I always have to check. And now we make our way into the final room, and as soon as you walk in, you get hit with a record shop. So with this antique mall, you get a comic shop and a record shop. Pretty wide variety. They also have some DVDs and Blu-rays. I actually picked up a copy of Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance on vinyl here. I don't actually have a record player, but it was a gift. And these guys are clearly big Kiss fans. You will find a lot of Kiss stuff, but a lot of other stuff too. They have this spot with some music DVDs. I found this Anthrax DVD. That was pretty cool. A while ago they had a Slayer DVD. I think it was actually when I made my first video here, but the thing was so scratched, so I did not wind up picking that up. More old paper, and oh, would you look at that? More comic books tucked away. That's why I say you will be looking around this place for hours, because there is stuff stashed away in every corner. And I'm excited to see this place expand even more. You know, I just made a video here a few months back and they've already added so much more since then. Over here we have this section with some old wood furniture and this really pretty fountain. And you'll notice this part of the antique mall, this last room, is a little bit more rustic, kind of feels a little bit more like a typical antique mall with all the wood grain and definitely a lot more older stuff. The other rooms tend to be a little bit more modern, a little bit more pop culture heavy, because this place is an antique mall, but it's really more of a mall within a mall. It's kind of like a collector's mall, as opposed to your typical antique mall. And this room back here, I would say, is the antique side of the antique mall. There are antiques throughout the entire place, but this one back here definitely has the most traditional feel. And we have a spot with more comic books. This booth actually has some of these treasury editions as well. I picked up a couple from here a little while back. Some more glass. A lot of clothing in this section as well. Some cool little figurines and knickknacks. But yeah, this side is definitely a lot more antique-y, a lot more clothing heavy, a lot more wood grain as opposed to glass cases full of shiny things, you know? But it's all cool to look at. Like, this place is definitely an experience. So if you're planning a trip to Niagara Falls, New York, or Buffalo, I would highly recommend this place be a destination you check out. Make sure you give yourself a few hours to really look around and see everything this place has to offer. There's even a little Polish market, and look at that, they have more dishes. They have this Buffalo Sabres light. And then over here, they also have one for the Buffalo Bills as well. Can you believe it, guys? We are almost done, but we still have a little bit more to look at. Of course, I always look at the books and the DVDs. And looks like they're doing something back here. That used to be all clothing. And we have another stack of comic books. More action figures. I'm seeing some Batman and Wolverine in there. This booth has some cool things. A little display of some higher end figures, some Vampirella. And then a bunch of action figures on the wall. Shelf with mainly horror DVDs, but some other stuff mixed in there too. Little stack of People magazine, and look at that right there. Heath Ledger's tragic death from 2008. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed checking this out with me. I hope this video was helpful to you guys if you are planning a trip here. It's a massive place. It'll take a while to get through, but it is definitely worth it, and I can guarantee you'll leave with something cool, no matter what your interests are. Over here is more old paper. And I did pick up one thing while I was here, so let's go home and I'll show you what that was. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this incredibly long video. For those of you that like seeing what I pick up, I think you're in for a real treat today. What did I pick up today? Well, I did show it in the video and talk about it, so maybe some of you guys could figure it out, but this is the history of manga, and what really drew me to this was that it is a Chainsaw Man ASM 300 homage. So this is a book that I really could not find any information on online. Like, I could find some people selling it on the secondary market. I paid $30 for it. So on the sticker, it says it is a New York Comic Con exclusive. It says it was limited to 100, but I'm really not sure because I was not finding a lot of information on this. All I could really find was that it was from a secret drop. There's a variant that has a foil embossed cover, and as you can see, this is just a regular cover. Some of the posts have said this was limited to 100, some say 175, so I don't really know. I can't find any information about the actual drop of this. In the signature there, it says after McFarlane, but I also can't find any information about who drew this cover. I can't find any information at all outside of what people are sharing on eBay and whatnot about it. So if anybody does know anything about this, it was a 2025 New York Comic Con exclusive Chainsaw Man ASM 300 homage. Yeah, it's really cool. I had to have it, especially because it was only $30. I did not see many of these up for sale, and none of them were as cheap as $30, so I had to get it. This is something that I don't think I'll ever find just out in the wild again. So incredibly cool. And again, if anyone knows any information about this, about where it dropped, about who did the cover, what the print count was, any of that information would be appreciated because it is not something that a simple Google search is able to uncover for me, so I might need one of you guys out there. I know whenever I have a question about something, there's always a guy in the comments that knows exactly what I'm talking about, so I'm hoping for that in this situation, but I just want you guys to get a good look at that. You got Pochita in the corner, and then Denji down there as like the barcode. So I really like this. I am very happy with it. I talked a little bit recently about how I might be an anime fan and how I really liked Chainsaw Man. So really happy to have something cool. I still don't have any of the manga, so that'll be the next step, but I had to get this when I saw it out there in the wild. So thank you for checking this out. Thank you for all the love on my last video. And again, if you haven't seen that one, check it out. I found a massive comic collection at this antique mall. And as always, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Peace out.